Do you think the Magic became a top 3 team in the East after this trade?
No, not
Cavs,
yet.
Pacers, Knicks.
Huh?
Cavs, Pacers.
Yeah,
Knicks.
those would be the 3. And if it was, I need more. Desmond Bane is a great player. I don't want to make it seem like he doesn't move the needle for me because he does slightly. They'll probably be the 4th team, but Orlando's offense is still a work in progress. I still want to see how they maneuver Banchero and Wagner. Wagner's another guy also who we just keep glossing over 3-point shooting. He's also a reason why they're one of the worst 3-point
No
shooting
one's
teams
glossing
in
over the
league.
fact that I might
It's
shoot
just
better
ugly.
than he
Yeah,
does.
he needs to lock into the gym and take 350,000 shots. That's another guy also that needs to get in there and work. But I still love the Cavaliers' offense over Orlando's, and I think their defense is still, it's not better, but I think it's still really, really good to great. I like all these teams' offense more than Orlando, and that's what moves. I think Indiana is an offense that you can trust regardless. I think New York, you just trust the ceiling of what Brunson and Cat can give you.
I think it's fair
And
to say,
Florida.
though, they have the best defense by far.
They do, but the gap offensively is way more.
They were a bottom 3 offense in basketball.
I agree with where you're coming
disgusting.
from, and I understand what you're saying in terms of when you mention KCP shot 38% post June or January, whatever the hell.
January 1st.
The issue is Desmond Bane's averaging 20.
Yep.
20 points while also being able to create for others, on top of it being one of the more efficient
But you
three-point
can't
shooters.
make
as well.
others shoot.
No, 100%. But the whole point is he can play off ball and
Yes.
still score at such a high volume, at such an efficient clip. And on top of it, he's not a guy that's just going to have the ball glued to his hands.
Correct.
No, he's still going to go and get others involved. That'll be beneficial to, of course, Franz and Paulo. Top 3, I think that this question was formulated perfectly. Because now it becomes in question of whether do you believe in this team more than a team like the Pacers who are just in the finals. That's tough. I don't know if I could do that. I can't do that yet. The Knicks, it's pulling at heartstrings because we know I love the New York Knicks, but in a series Knicks versus Orlando, I'm not ruling out Orlando.
Yeah.
Genuinely, like if there was a case for Orlando to be over any team, and as much as it pains me to say, you can argue it's the Knicks because they have such a strong deficiency that you can take advantage of. And we even saw the Pistons, who I thought that the Knicks were a better team than them, just flat out. Every single game, it was a really strong game right down to the wire where it could have gone either which way. Shout out to them having the clutch player of the year in Jalen Brunson, who was able to get it done more often than not for them. But that was the difference between a very close series between them and the Pistons. They went and they handled business against the Celtics, and I give them credit for that. But again, that was them having clutch play after clutch play, and they got exposed in the Pacers series, which it hurt. But you saw what they did on a consistent basis. Come on, Brunson, come guard. Karl Anthony Towns, you're going to have to pick. Are you going to go and drop? Are you going to try and switch? What are you going to do? And now the paint's wide open. It was constant mismatch, constant exploitation. Now, where the question becomes offensively, do the Magic have the personnel to go out there and dot up and dime up the New York Knicks? I don't know, but I do believe they have the offensive talent in terms of Paulo Banchero. Franz just gets a league average. I'm not asking you to be great. I'm not asking you to be
also
good.
So far.
Just be league average. Like that's a task. I can admit. But Desmond Bane's a huge addition.
Yep.
That's a real conversation for me, and I think that if we get that leap from Paulo Banchero that we saw towards the back end of the season, if that's just over an entire length of a season, I think they are a top 3 team. I think you can choose them over the Knicks.
I just feel like the Cavaliers, we kind of are looking at them, the version of that they were in the regular season.
Rose-colored lenses, I agree.
Because in the playoffs, they were injured. But this is a Magic team that with worse personnel took that team to 7, and the Cavaliers had similar personnel.
The worst Cavs team.
Different coaching.
Different coaching. Mobley.
Who's the
wasn't as good.
addition? DeAndre Hunter?
Yeah.
I think
Ty
that's who
Jerome,
Ty
that
Jerome
matters.
Yeah.
In the playoffs, he
Garland.
wasn't good at all, though.
Mobley is much better. than what
Mobley
he
is
was.
much better. I think the Cavaliers.
That was the Cavs at their worst.
I just need to see them healthy. The Orlando Magic, I think, in the Knicks is a conversation because I think with the Knicks, there's just no depth. I think the Magic have better depth, and I think they play much like Detroit with a lot of heart, passion, in their defensive first. I've always felt like the Magic have played the Knicks tough, even when they weren't that good. So I think the Magic just have a big advantage with their size, with Franz and Paulo being able to just dictate matchups with Cat or Brunson guarding them. I just think the Knicks defense was just so bad that you can argue that even a team that doesn't have offensive firepower can get the better of them in a series because of how bad they are defensively. But overall, I think when it comes to Orlando, they have to find a way to play together in order to maximize themselves. I think that Bane is a clean fit. And he's probably the cleanest fit that they could have found.
Hell yeah.
Because I think we mocked other guards to Orlando, like Malik Monk, like Anthony Simons, and Desmond Bane is better than all of them. And I don't think a LaMelo Ball or a Trae Young made sense because of how ball dominant they are. He would have been good. He would have been good.
It would have been good.
I like him off ball.
But not like this.
No,
because
Bane
is this the most perfect addition?
Yeah, because of what they need, of the shooting.
I also didn't think they'd be able to get him.
No, you're not wrong, dude.
But also, what I'm looking forward to is just Desmond Bane. In Memphis, he could play on the ball more because Memphis had better shooting. In Orlando, I think his touches on the ball will come mostly from like attacking closeouts. But like him initiating offense, him initiating offense over Paolo and Franz, I think that's where it gets dicey, and they'll have to find like a perfect balance.
But you
with
can
that.
have him because now you finally have a good pick and roll partner with him and Banchero. So
I
now,
think that the staggering of certain combinations is going to work wonders. Yeah. I think the best combination, in my personal opinion, is Franz and Bane because of how well Bane can space the floor and because of how elite of a driver Franz is. Like, I think Paolo is their best mismatch player. I think Franz is their best downhill finisher attacker, and they both need to improve from three, Franz even more so. But this is where it starts. And I think much like the Wolves, when they made the trade for Rudy Gobert, they believed Anthony Edwards was a star. And I think the Magic are in a place right now where they believe Paolo and Franz are stars. And both of them can take major leaps in their game year to year because of how young they are. And if Paolo takes a major leap in his game next year, is there an argument over Jalen Brunson? Does Paolo Banchero become top 15 in that category?
If he takes a major jump, we're talking like all NBA player.
Brunson.
No, you go from Franz talks to Jalen Brunson talks.
You did
that.
Shit. You
that
MVP.
goes
and
crazy.
Franz Wagner, I think Franz Wagner next year, could we have would you rathers and we're saying would you rather Franz or Cat and we go with Franz? I think that's a possibility too.
Bar.
Cat is respect. He's an all-NBA player multiple times.
What?
Playoff riser.
We didn't give respect with Brunson, but I got to give respect to Cat.
You know what? You talk all this nonsense about being two-way. Pick a side.
What are you talking
Pick a side.
I'm confused.
No, because it's shocking. So we're out on Karl Anthony Towns.
No, I think
because his defense sucks.
No, I think if we all ranked him in the NBA, I don't think he's as high as jumping to Brunson.
He's a top 30 player.
No.
Yeah, I'm talking about Karl
Anthony Towns.
Yeah, I'm saying Franz catching Cat is a lot more likely than Banchero catching Brunson in a season.
Okay.
That's what I was saying.
All right.
That's all I was saying.
Okay, I agree.
I could see both. I could see both.
The first Brunson's like top 10.
Here's the thing.
Paulo would have to go crazy.
Yeah.
If that happens,
Paulo.
Fair.
I won't be shocked.
Paulo is treated like
it's the love I have for Brunson.
I feel that.
I love Brunson.
Fair.
And it's not gonna be consensus. It'll never be consensus.
It would not be the most shocking
like,
thing.
Didn't you have Cade over Brunson this year?
Yeah, I think Cade's levels above.
But last year, Paulo was over Cade.
Levels?
Ooh.
He's levels above Paolo?
No, we're talking about Franz.
I thought you were going to get crazy.
We are talking about Franz.
I thought you were going to get crazy.
But I thought Cade was better last year. It's just team was dog shit.
Than Paulo.
Yeah.
Even though the
You
playoffs.
You can't ask me
Even though the playoffs.
What?
Paolo was a dog.
We talking about last year?
Yes.
Oh,
I don't think
you said last year you thought that
was
Cade
Paulo
was better.
over Cade.
Yeah, his team. Oh, consensus, no.
No.
Or with Cade over Paulo. Last year, the consensus was Paulo over Cade.
Yes.
And in a year where the Magic had a lot of injuries,
yes.
Cade was able to catch up to the point that Cade was an All-NBA player. And there were conversations around him and Brunson.
Last year, the conversation on Cade was at the bottom of the barrel. So that's a terrible.
He made a higher jump than what Paulo has to make right now to answer those talks.
He didn't. People just watched him more. People were calling Cade trash last year. Like, they were saying he's not a good basketball player.
They said he was a bad playmaker, too.
That's the difference. Like, oh, I remember that. But, no, that's like, I think that's a different. Like, they said Cade was trash, and they started watching. And they're like, oh, now Cade is in these conversations. No, I've always hovered in the same area for Cade. And
Cade is 2021 first overall pick.
Some shit like that.
Paulo is 2022.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which means that next year, I think Paulo, if he's on one of the All-NBA teams, he performed at a top 15 level in the league.
Yeah, he could.
And I think that leads
Where
to
do we have him now?
That's
Top
the
30?
That's the expectation for
Who?
Paolo next year.
Banchero.
Easy.
Top 30, right?
Easy.
Top 30, yeah.
Well, like at the back end?
Is he better than
Probably.
Siakam?
No, not right now.
Tough. The roles are different.
No, not right now. It's no end of the year.
Is
Probably.
he better than J Dub?
The roles are different. I don't know. It's tough.
The answer right now, whether you like it or not, is no.
Probably J Dub.
Whether you like it or not, it's no.
It's tough. The Magic this past season was just such a wash.
Like
The
in a
shooting was terrible,
vacuum,
the injuries.
who do you think is going to be the better player?
Paolo.
Yeah, you go Paolo.
You probably say that
But
with
like
Paulo
right
a lot
now,
of times.
first
So
team,
I feel about him
first
and
team,
Siakam.
all NBA, all defense. I'm sorry, that shit doesn't grow on trees.
Is Paolo better than Cat?
Not right
Not
now.
right now. He can be. Definitely. He could be better than Cat next year.
If he's not better than these guys, I guess we're naming top 30 guys. These are top 30 guys.
He's back end 30. He's not top 20, I don't think. He's closer to 30 than 20 to me.
Is he better than Zion?
No.
Okay, I agree.
Both healthy, no.
That's what I'm saying. Is he really top 30?
Is he better than Jaren Jackson?
I'll take him.
Jair ain't top 30.
I'm
I'll
asking.
take him
a
over
que-
Jaren.
Are you just taking him over Jaren for the idea of what Paolo can be? And I'm not saying that
I think
that's
it's-
wrong.
I think
One
it's
side
both.
is a wash.
And I'm also
Yeah,
not
for
saying
sure.
that Paolo didn't play amazing
He
down
did.
the stretch
Nah.
and in the playoffs. I'm
I
not
think
saying that.
I like
Because Jaren was amazing this year.
I like Banchero's skill set.
Considering.
Jaren's peak was this year probably not. Let me let me
mean, it
rephrase.
was-
Jaren's best this year was what 22-7.
Yeah. I don't
But-
know. Jaren's weird.
Defensive player of the year.
Yeah.
Like that was the peak.
Is he better than Evan Mobley?
No.
No.
I would take Paolo. I would take Paolo.
I mean
I would take Paolo.
I don't know.
Personally,
Let's
I would
take
take.
Jaren over
I would
Mobley?
take Paolo over Jaren.
Take Jaren over Oh, okay.
I would take Paolo over both.
Over both?
But I'm saying it wouldn't be
You're a
crazy. is
two-way
what I'm
guy.
saying.
Yeah.
I've been a two-way guy.
So why are you not taking Mobley? What was Jaren?
Because the two-way from Mobley is still a work in progress.
At what?
The scoring.
What about Jaren?
Jaren's too
Jaren's a scorer.
No, he is. No, that's why Jaren moved me.
Yeah. Would you say you take Paolo?
But
over
I
Jaren?
not
Still
be
take
efficient.
Paolo's two-way.
Evan Mobley isn't like 13 a
Jaren.
night. He's like
he's
19.
not. He's like 19.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's 19.
He's
a
also
20
he's also
point
playing with
scorer,
Donovan
pretty
Mitchell
much.
and Darius Garland too.
You're
Talk.
not wrong. You're
Talk.
not wrong.
Jaren did play with. I mean, he played with
And
Bane
Mobley can't
John,
handle
to
the
be
ball
fair,
too. It's
Well,
just
most of Jaren's buckets is him, like isolation.
Yeah.
how hurt was Mobley in the playoffs? We're saying he was hurt.
He wasn't the hurtest. Like
He looked like a different
He just
player than
didn't get
regular
the ball.
season.
That's what it was. He just didn't get the ball. His touches went down significantly.
nuts.
That's what I say to that.
I'll say this, because I feel like what's lost in this conversation is that really was a nasty fart. I feel like what's lost in this conversation is what does Detroit and Miami do this offseason? Because if Miami does go get Kevin Durant, right? Them in Orlando, now we're looking at it like that's a conversation. What if Detroit does go make some moves in the offseason? Now we're looking like, all right, like are they solidified a top 4 team in the East? And then what we're like Atlanta's also a sneaky team to
You love Atlanta.
I just like how they built their little rotation. It's real nice.